speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And our like sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
You think you are free, that your decisions are your own. Tell me honestly, did you really choose this path? Or was it chosen for you? Your father, with every triumph, every failure, was it not his decisions that brought you here? Has his path not sealed your own? Marked out in golden bricks below your very feet. The path is set. Keep your head up. Keep your weapon loaded. Follow the battle brick road.
I remember childhood without any friends. Just me and my imagination. So I made up my own friend. Crim's my best bud. I don't know what I'd do without him. But there's some things we should keep locked away. Not the imaginary friends, but the imaginary fiends. Crim, where are you?
There is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my God, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every conceivable opportunity so you can current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Pronouns! Gender ambiguity! Current day Californian! Because that's all we know! Because we're so boring!
Houston, we have a problem. I hope you're seeing some audio here because for some reason it's saying my cameras are unplugged. So I have no idea what's going on. You would think this would not be a problem, but it appears to be. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hang on a second, guys. All right. Let's see if this notices anything. This is hilarious. There we go. Look at him go. Can you guys see me now? Am I visible? Have I appeared? Although I'm a little blurry on this one. That's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? That's a bit strange. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, this is it's always exciting here at SHANTH ENJETI Art. That's what we do. Okay, so that was my troublemaker right there. Does it want to focus? Well, if I'm out of focus, in a sense, I mean, is it really that bad? I don't know. Yeah, I look... Steven Rockwood says, Shanth, you look great. Oh my God, you guys are the best. All right, so we'll see what we can do here to make this, yeah, I look better blurry. I have a, yeah, Rutro is right. Let's see who we've got here. Can you guys hear and see me now? You know what I mean? Can you guys hear and see me? Let me know in the chat, you know. Yeah, us painting in the dark is what it would be. Yeah, I thought you were going to impress us by painting in the dark. I know. Let me know in the chat if you can see or hear me, and then we'll try to get about this as best as we can. You know, it is definitely going to be one of those days from what I can gather here. Oh, I'm muted. Am I? Oh, hold on a sec. Am I really muted? Tell me I'm not muted. Ah! Mark says, yup, you can hear and see me. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll see how this goes. According to this, there is audio, but if I am muted, do let me know. So let me see here. I'm going to need some help. gonna need some help here. So yeah, let me know in the chat if I'm being heard or seen, and if not, well, I guess I will just have to figure out what to do. So here, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna switch. Let me see here. I'm gonna go to. Let's reduce that down. Does that work? Let me see. Just getting blurry. Yeah, he's just getting blurrier. That's what it is. Okay, hang on a second. Let me try something here. I'm going to try to really fix anything. No, it does not. Does that fix anything? No. And we'll put that in. There we go. Now we're not blurry, but can you hear us? Is the real question. It says you can, so we'll just proceed as planned because, you know, nothing like a little bit of a train wreck to start off a stream. That's how I love to do it. So let's see who we've got here in the chat. Let's just see who we've got here in the chat, and we will go from there. First off in the chat, we had Eric Weathers, the great, the legend. Don't ever get it twisted. Battle Brick Road 2, guys. The link is in the description. We have got Stephen Rockwood, the first channel member. It's great to see you, channel member Stephen Rockwood. I hope you are having a great day. Let's see here. We've got Hostman Socrates in the house saying, hey, Shanth, I could use a little positivity right now. Well, I have come to bring the positivity, if not any kind of, you know, technical expertise. But I am here to bring some positivity, so don't you worry. I got you. What is up, Mark's Music Obsession channel member? It is great to see you, brother. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We've got Haldir in the house. How are you doing? Eric Weathers, Stephen Rockwood, and Hostman Socrates. There's a lot of love for everybody in the chat there. Let's see who else. I've got Timmy Mello, channel member. I bow to you, Timmy Mello. Thank you so much for being here and being such a big supporter. It is great to have you here. We've got another channel member, Ferris Comics. It is great to see you. I am glad you are here. Thank you for supporting the channel. And then we'll get to where we're going here. Rutro is absolutely right, Timmy Mello. I solved a technical problem at the last minute. Stephen Rockwood, no. Don't do this to me. You're killing me. You're killing me. So let's do this, man. So let's talk a little bit about art. Let's talk a little bit about what we're doing here. And let's talk a little bit about positivity. I've heard some people, you know, talking about that and the importance of trying to stay positive. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about painting. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how I sketch and put things together when I'm doing this work, and we'll just go from there. So let's see how we're doing. But I hope you guys are having a great Columbus Day, and if you are not, then I am here to help improve the mood and try to show a little bit of beauty in this crazy upside down, as Stephen Rockwood would say, world of ours. And yeah, so one of the coolest parts about working on this piece that you guys have seen, and a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now, is being. No, Mo Biggs. Oh my God. Oh, why, Mo Biggs? Why did you do it to me? Why did you do it to me? That was some next level humor there, Mo Biggs. Respect. I doff my cap to you, my friend. Well done. Holy cow. You guys are killing me. So the coolest thing about working on pulp artwork and working on traditional artwork and being in the space that we're in right now, where we get to kind of, you know, share this stuff and do what we do, is that I get to give you guys sort of a fly on the wall approach to it. So when you see something like the detail in this lower corner here on this Lucent painting, one of the things that you're going to see on today's stream is I'm going to be tackling the exact same kind of texturing over on the flip side, which is literally the flip side because of, let me move this cable here, is literally the flip side because I'm trying to get these two halves almost like a playing card. They're going to mirror each other in certain ways, and so that is the plan. What is up, Hen and Mo Biggs, if I have not said hello, if my laughter did not substitute for a hello. It is great to see you, my friends. And what I love about this is that there is this textural quality of the Lucent, and there's this textural quality of the way the story comes together. that suits my work really well. And I'm unbelievably excited about working on this piece. I have been ever since, Mike said, I want you to do something for the Lucent. And besides playing the trailer, and which was great. And I love doing both. But for me, tackling things like this and doing this kind of meticulous work that you guys, have been watching, some of you guys for years now, which is unbelievable to think about. Doing this kind of work with you guys, the hope that I have is that when you see it, it either takes you away to a wonderful meditative place, much like Calgon, or it inspires you to say, hey, I should get some paintbrushes and I should do something like that. And one thing I've been talking a lot about lately with people is that how do I word this? The physical act of making things like a painting or a drawing or even just playing your guitar or whatever it is good for the soul. It's really good for the soul because when you're doing it, it's an uninterrupted experience. It's an uninterrupted experience of working on, this stuff. And it's a one-pointed meditation, in fact. I know some of you folks probably do all kinds of stuff, gardening, even mowing the lawn or all of that kind of work. All of it is an opportunity for that. And if I could give one bit of advice for any of you who are interested in doing this kind of stuff, here's what my advice would be. My advice would be, don't put any pressure on it to be for anybody else. That's something that you can do when you're doing, when you get to a certain point. But enjoy it for what it is. Don't think about how everyone else is painting, because their painting is not your experience. Their painting is not what, the only person who can paint your paintings or draw your drawings or sketch your sketches is you. And that's the thing that I think people miss out on. I would never play or pick up or practice the violin, and Lord knows I would never sing, if I was doing so because I thought I was the greatest singer of all time. Yet there's this kind of amazing thing when you see people singing in their cars, or you see people singing when they're, doing anything around the house, where they're having fun and they're in a good place. There's a reason for that. It's because we're able to act when we're not paralyzed by either anxiety or depression. And I think I've talked about this on the stream before, but if I haven't, or if you haven't heard it yet, hopefully this helps you. For those of you guys who were saying you need some positivity today, is that if you, there's only one healthy place for your mind to exist, and that is very much in the present. If you find your mind lingering in the past, you will get depressed. What might have been, what could have been, what should have been. And if you find yourself hanging out in the future, you are going to be anxious because what might happen, what could go wrong, all of this kind of stuff. And the only reason to really get your mind in the present is to act, is to do things. And for people who say, what about planning? That's in the future. No, planning is done in the present with the resources that you have. And so what I say, and what I encourage all of you guys to do is, I had a student who was talking one time about anxiety when I was teaching, college, and was stressing out. And I said, all right, here's a wadded up piece of masking taped paper. And it was basically just a ball. And I said, I want you guys to, all three of you, stand there and play catch. Just pass it from person to person to person. And they just started doing it. And I go, how are you feeling right now? And they were like, well, I have to stop to talk about it. And I go, that's right. You're occupied. Your mind is occupied, so you're in a good place. Yeah, I'm always thinking about the presents too. Quarter scale Ninja Turtle action figures. 1990 movie. That's how it works, Eric. And it's a crazy thing because we forget to do those things. When I come in here and I'm doing this work, right, my mind is kind of in two pieces. It's on the work and it's also on you guys. But when you guys are looking at what I'm doing, I want it to be something that is a lovely sort of warm distraction in a good sense, right? It's escapism in, as Tolkien said, in the truest sense, which is getting out of prison, an intellectual prison. And so as I work and I think about the things I want to do, yeah, exactly, that's right. I love it, man. I love it. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That is why they call it the present. Amen. Yes, indeed. Eric's favorite present was a Jesus Peanut Butter Cup t-shirt. My goodness. The things that I learn about on these streams are incredible. Like, I do not know these things exist. So yeah. And it's a funny thing because I find that that anxiety, worry, all of those kinds of things can be, wildly contagious. And it's one of those things that finding places where you go where people are positive, and not because they're unaware of the world or whatever. I mean, that's what people. The funniest thing, my funniest habit, I would say, I see people doing, which has not contributed well to everybody's psychological well-being, is for anxious people to come up and to other people and go, "Do you know this, and this?" And then when the person inevitably says, "No, I don't." Well, you need to educate yourself. And what they really mean is, I want you to feel as anxious as I feel right now. And I think that that's not usually a good place to hang out. That's usually not a good place to live. And what I always try to do is I try to make sure that when I'm working, and when I see one of my brothers or somebody having a tough time and feeling down and all of that kind of stuff, I always try to send some positivity their way, send a positive message, because I think that we all could use it. And it's one of the reasons why I do what I do. When I know Sphero, I never know how the world is going to be when you start a project like that. If you start thinking about, well, what are the things I can't control? Let me focus on those. You're going to be in trouble. But I find if you write something that's positive and from the heart, it always seems as though it can be used by somebody in a positive way. And I'm really glad I approached the story the way that I did. And I just, like I said, I can't wait to get the books in from the printer. But that's how I have to do things. I have to keep things in that space because, I try to make things beautiful. Even if you give me, I was thinking while I was watching the trailers at the start of the show, that the piece I did for BECKONED RECOURSE is probably one of my favorite things that I've done. It's a really beautiful piece. This piece is in the mix. I mean, there's been I got to be honest, a lot of the folks that I know, and Eric Weathers in the chat is a great example of that, is a lot of the artists I'm friends with are on fire. They're doing some of their best work, their coolest stuff. I got to say, one of the things that I think gets lost sometimes when, we're talking about comics and all of this kind of stuff is, a serious look at the quality of the work that's coming out. I think Ethan is doing some of his most breathtaking work, and I'm really enjoying the way that he's art directing and Kyle is creating the colors on that stuff. It's beautiful. And where all of us are here working, and this kind of blows my mind. It's true with manga and it's true with novels. Like, if you want to read all of the Narnia books, you can just sit down and read them. Heck, you can get them in a collection. It's the same thing with Harry Potter. But to be there during the time when this stuff was being created and having to sort of wait for it, and then people showing up at bookstores in capes at midnight, I mean, that's incredible stuff, man. Yeah, see, Mo Biggs, nevertheless, he perseveres. Sending positivity is only a misdemeanor in my state. And you know what? Thank God for small favors. That's what I say. Oh my gosh. Stephen Rockwood. I love reading that. Dude, I'm legit excited to get Nosfero. I am legit excited for all of you guys to get it. And it's so funny because the paper stock, things like that, like I know that sounds lame, but for me, it's the fact that it feels substantial. When you get it and you've got this, you're like, wow, I made a book happen. That's incredible. And I want all of you guys to have that feeling. All of you guys who are early adopters on this stuff, who backed Nosfero and made it possible for us to do this. And we are going to get you guys, for those of you who have been interested, the art-only, edition so you can see the paintings. But I will tell you this, guys. I love the lettering work that Eric did on that book. and it was really nice to collaborate with someone who I know is also a fellow painter and a fellow illustrator and comic book artist. I mean, I think hands down, if you're looking for that just perfect coming together of subject matter and timing and skill level and all of these things, Battle Brick Road is one of those masterful things that to come out of Comicsgate. It's great. It's got a great title. It's got great characters, and it really puts you in a different world while still paying attention to things that are to me Kansas in an interesting way, and it doesn't lose connection with that because of dust storms and all of this kind of stuff. It's great. Well, exactly. I mean, take your positivity wherever you can get it, but hopefully not. But we'll roll with the punches. You've got to roll with the punches to get to what's real, I've found. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there you go. If you want to get into the weeds of the specifics, yeah, there you go. That's right. There you go. You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. So, I had, speaking of positivity and speaking of people who are incredibly positive and helpful in my life, Mrs. Enjeti, the great Mrs. Enjeti, did the unthinkable, did the incredible, did the amazing. She, after one of my many late nights streaming this week, I passed out and I was asleep for a good long while yesterday, and she came into my office, my studio office, and she straightened up the entire office for me. I know I've been telling you guys how it was just a complete and utter wreck. She came in here and started the work and did a massive amount of work starting to get it organized for me. And I just couldn't believe it. It put me in such a great mood. I know it's funny because I talk about those little things, right, that we can do for people, but that's a perfect example. I was on the receiving end, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing to have a workspace because I just have to focus and make the next thing fall and the next thing fall and plan for the next thing. Doing this job and doing self-publishing work and comics and everything is so completely complicated. Every project is a learning experience in terms of media, in terms of pushing, your message of your work out there. One of the things I wanted to make sure that I brought up for those of you guys who like that Iron Age logo design, I have the link to the TeePublic site. I know some of you guys have already bought shirts. And yeah, it is, isn't it, Timmy? It is 100%. Like that was really nice of her. You're right, Timmy. It was so great, and it was exactly. It's the kind of thing that you don't expect, and you can never take for granted. It was awesome. Yep. Hostman Socrates says the right woman makes your life heaven. Take note, Prince of Canada and wife. Agreed. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's true. It absolutely is true. It's a wonderful thing. We got 14 people watching. Let's see if we can move that like and let YouTube know what's up. Because YouTube. You know how it goes, as my friend Jericho would say. You know how it goes. But yeah, there's so much potential out there. There's so much good to be done. I remember we were talking about on Shane Davis's birthday, talking about the idea of, putting... Let me see if I can... I want to try... See, which camera am I on? I want to switch this up so I can zoom in just a little bit for you guys. So let's see. There we go. Oh man, I nothing like a nice digital zoom. Yep. You guys are killing me, man. Yeah. And so for me, when I'm looking at the stuff I'm doing and I'm putting it together and figuring out, all right, well, what do we got to do? How do we maintain all of this stuff? The best thing I can do sometimes is just to fire up a stream and let it happen. So I put in there that I might do some Battle Brick Road sketching today. I don't know how that's going to go. I have no idea. I haven't got a plan. But I'm looking to see if I can come up with something for it because I love those characters and I want to try to come up with something. I don't know if it's going to happen this stream, but it's going to happen one of these streams. We'll see. You get to see my sketch process, which is definitely something. It's a thing that happens. That's the key. Let's see. Get this in here. So how are you guys doing today? Hanging in there? It's Columbus Day here in the States, so wishing everybody a happy Columbus Day. Columbus Day weekend, I should say. Kind of throws me for a loop a little bit because I'm so used to, the weekly schedule and how everything goes. Sometimes I have to kind of keep myself, together and remember what I'm doing what day. And, what is it? I don't know whether to scratch my watch or wind my behind, as the saying goes. So, I was this morning or last night, I think it was. Gosh, it's the same thing to me. I mean, it must have been 3 a.m. or something like that. But I was working on getting an update to some Waffle Lodge stuff and some video stuff, so I could put some characters in the background for super chats. Like I'm just all about making this stuff. I get into these bursts where I'm pushing really hard on everything and like trying to make the the videos as good as I can and do all of that sort of stuff, and then working on the artwork and then kind of balancing all this different stuff. And then sometimes I get to a point where I go, okay, I need to take a beat, take a step back so I can just get in gear, Oof. Let's see here. It's cold, and it got cold fast here, similar to here. We've had very up and down weather right now, and it's, man, that takes a toll on the old arthritis for sure. But I will say this. I like the fall. I like when it gets a little chilly because it helps me to get into the spooky season, as I understand. It's currently, people are at war with that phrase, I guess, trying to suck any joy or, happiness out of this world. And I say no. But I love Halloween, and I love, monsters and creatures and all of this kind of stuff. So that's been a big part of what I've been doing and what I've been working on. Yeah, Canada has been oddly warm. Yeah, and I don't know which side you're on, but it's been similar here. It's been really warm. Really warm. Crazy warm. Suspiciously warm. You see, there we go. Get that stuff in there. But yeah, no, this is all the stuff you're seeing right here. All this stuff you're seeing live. This is the process. This is how, when I'm doing something like this, where I'm playing around with tree roots and trying to kind of get the textural quality there. This is how fluid it is. A lot of it is muscle memory. A lot of it is intuitive. I have painted a lot of bristlecone pine trees, which is the texture that I'm inspired by when I'm doing this. But these are just kind of the marks I've always been drawn to. That kind of smooth, effect that you can have happen when you do this kind of work. So that's a big thing. You're in Western Canada, so you're on the other coast. There you go. Where we still believe in freedom. That's right. That's what I've heard, right? In the words of Tony Soprano, spooky is a good phrase that means creepy in this household. End of story. That's right. That's exactly what it means here. I can't imagine. I struggle. How do I put this? I know there. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how depressing it is to be living in that space of policing other people's speech and actions. It's exhausting. I mean, if it's miserable for us, it must be much more miserable for them, because it's the kind of control that you can't really have. And I think that the stuff that's worth doing and the people that are great to spend time with aren't things that happen easy. These are relationships, and these are projects, and these are things that we put together over time. And they're organic. They're fun, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Let me see here. Are you watching One Championship? Let me see. I don't believe I am. My goodness. And how are you, Leg Kick One? It's great to see you, my friend. So yes, tell me more. The last thing that I was paying attention to was, of course, Lee Wood's latest fight out of the UK. So that's I've been watching a lot of boxing between doing this stuff, or sometimes while I'm doing this stuff. I like to listen to boxing commentators while I work. But no, I have not been. I am very out of the loop on all things that are not boxing and all things that are not painting and illustration stuff. I mean, I'm in the loop enough as I need to be, man. I'm in the loop enough, but it's things have just been wild. So yeah, let me know, man. How is it going? And are you excited about it? That's the main thing. Because it's weird. You guys share things with me sometimes that you're excited about. The same thing goes with, oh my gosh, Diesel was in here and he was talking about the game he has. I hope it went well for him. I hope they're doing great. I think he said he was heading out to Florida But, it's great when you guys come in here and check in and say, hey, what's up? And, we do what we do. That's how it's always been. So, yeah, I mean, all I've got now, whenever I'm doing this work, is I just go over and grab my proof of Nosfero so I can thumb through it and kind of, get ideas and see where I want to take things next. But I would much rather, I can't wait to get all those books, guys. I can't wait to get all those books because I want to ship them out, yes, but I just want to see them. And the thing about printers and paper stocks and things like that is it's just been a little bit wonkier in the last couple of years, obviously. But my printer is really good. They send me paper stocks. They actually printed the book on 2 different paper stocks just for the proofs, because they wanted to see if I perhaps would like this other paper stock more. But I just wanted to, for this first book, I wanted to keep it consistent with all of the books that I've been doing, because I trust it. I mean, I put that much thought into how this stuff is going to come off. That's the biggest thing for me anyway, is how this stuff is going to come together. And I don't want to add any more variables into it than already naturally exist in any kind of creative endeavor, right? It's filled with them. Oh yeah, that's the mark that I needed right there. And also the mark in the chat. Shout out to Mark's Music Obsession. Yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, I mean, lots of cool stuff going on, guys. Lots of cool stuff. I was looking at Spring Ball the other night. I've been doing the Waffle Lodge streams at night. I'm going to make that as often as I can. And it's been a blast. I spent a lot of time talking with Dan Lawless. We were talking about Cordrath and Bud Root and all of the stuff that he's been doing. And yeah, just trying to make sure we're contributing to bringing beautiful things into this world. And yeah, it's a big part of it. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, these corners are kind of the value locks that are going to make the whole thing come together. And it took me a while to figure out, just because there's so much happening, I wanted to do things that weren't distracting. I wanted to do things that would bring the reader in, and that's it. Let me see here. Add to broadcast. Shanth Enjeti, I figured you were a fight fan. Check out the One Championship. I will check it out 100%. Massive fight fan. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I love I love all kinds of fighting. Like, I'm not following, the bare knuckle fighting league as much. I'm not following I know I follow UFC a little bit and I keep track of that. I'm obviously paying attention to the Tyson Fury and Gano fight, which should be, it'll be interesting for however long it goes. Let me see. There's lots of cool fight stuff going on. I mean, I'm more excited about Usyk versus Tyson Fury. But man, I tell you what, that last Lee Wood fight was a straight up Rocky story. I mean, he was behind on all the cards. I don't know. I do think I gave him one round, and then he just a wonderful knockout counter. It was great. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm pumped for the Stipe versus Bones fight. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, man. John Jones. That was freakish. I mean, I know he wants to fight. He's John Jones, but if it were me, I would just retire on that. That has to have been one of the most incredible, quick finish performances I've ever seen against top opposition. That was ridiculous. He made it look like he rolled out of bed and did it, and I know he trained his butt off, but it's crazy. Simply Green is saying there's something about Spring Ball that smacks of classic superheroes, maybe mid-detective comics. So, yeah, I mean, that book, when I was working on it, the thing that got me about it was I was looking at the Amazing Spider-Man Masterworks collection of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. It had a black cover back then. I don't know what the covers look like now, but it was in the 90s. And I remember thinking, and Andy Smith actually does a lot of this too. We need some stuff that is kind of a reminder of the fun that comics used to be. And they were serious for their time, but they were, or reasonably serious for their time. But we need a reminder of that. And Spring Ball was kind of born out of my love of the American comic book language and cartooning language and animation language. And it's as much influenced by that as it is anything else. I mean, the character of Molly, which is her new name, it used to be Midge, but it's Molly now in Spring Ball, the kind of female lead, she was based off of Betty Boop in a lot of ways. It was Betty Boop and Felix the Cat and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and all of these, kind of different characters from that time, back before even the Disney company got back the rights to Oswald. And, I was looking at stuff like that. And, of course, Animaniacs was a huge part of that, which they were inspired by that stuff as well. And so it's interesting because I'm coming back to it as a older artist who's been doing more different kinds of things. And so I think I'm a better writer, and I think I'm definitely a better artist. But I'm trying to really bring that stuff, into focus with it and make it fun. Much like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in some ways was its own thing, but it was kind of a nod to Frank Miller's Daredevil run. This is the same thing. Like, this is not like that, but this is like a nod to, Spider-Man Torment 1990 and the first 5 or 6 issues of Spawn. So that's what's so fun about it. I mean, I'm having a blast. Let me see here. I'm more excited about the, the Boaka versus, I can never pronounce this. Is it Senchai? Bare Knuckle Muay Thai. Bare Knuckle Muay Thai that's insane. I love that stuff, but man, I think Shane studied Muay Thai, right? That's some serious fighting. I know Gina Carano got her start in Muay Thai as well, but I don't actually know a ton about it. So, I mean, anything you tell me about it is going to be information to me, because I really don't follow Muay Thai. Funny enough, I would say that my interest in watching fights and fighting has gone up, which is scary because it was already pretty high. But there are so many different leagues and so many different fight, promotional companies and corporations that are putting stuff out there right now that we're spoiled for choice. We're spoiled for choice. Osman Socrates says, dude, I was watching the Betty Boop Snow White cartoon with the Cab Calloway number in the middle, and what a great short to study for great animation and whack storytelling. Yes, Ub Iwerks, too, is one of my heroes, and he's the king of all that stuff. That might be it. Batman is a guy that dresses up in a bat suit, but they played it straight. Well, and Razorfist talks about this a lot, and I think it's impressive, his sort of encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of this stuff. But when I look at the way that the Shadow informed everything that Batman was, and down to, quite a bit, Batman has become sort of its own thing and whatever, but you kind of have to go back to the pulp sensibilities, because as crazy as comics were and are sometimes, actually I think they were crazier then, pulp is barking. I mean, pulp is completely nuts. Solomon Kane is wild. And when you get Nosferatu, and I'd say the same thing with Spring Ball, you're getting comics before anybody was looking. You're getting comics before they were comics by committee. When nobody, it's kind of a weird thing, but when nobody is interested, before the cool people, quote unquote cool people and hipsters pop in, you can get away with, or I should say, you can actually be creative and enjoy yourself. And you can do great work for the fans. And I'm not one of those people that thinks just because something gets popular, it's not good anymore, all that kind of stuff. That's really not my bag. But I will say that all of these things, whether it's Comicsgate, the Iron Age, and all of that stuff, they survive on the strength of their good faith fans who are there to be excited and there to be entertained. Same thing goes with boxing. I may not be the, oh my gosh, wow. Aldian was gifted a membership by Sumo Thori. Sumo Thori, what are you doing? Sumo Thori coming in here hot. Sumo Thori gifted 5 Shanth Enjeti art memberships. Are you serious? Sumo Thori, you legend. My God, I gotta send a cheerleader your way. This is for you, my friend. Holy cow. Sumo Thori in the house. I bow to you, Sumo Thori. I bow to you. I guess I'm going to be updating those credits after this stream. Thank you so much. And it is great to see my bass-playing brother and now a channel member, thanks to Sumo. Same with Simply Green. Same with Awesome One. It is great to see, guys. It is wonderful. So great job, Sumo Thori. Yes, indeed, Mo Biggs. Thank you, Sumo Thori. You get another one of those. Charge! You legend, you. Let's see here. Hail Sumo Thori. You know, you almost get me to read it sometimes, man. You almost get me to read it. You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Yes, personally, I think the best works come from a single strong vision. You know, I think that's very true on some levels, 100%. Yeah, I shave, everybody's saying. What's up, Noah? How are you doing? NTM Comics. Hey, everyone. You know, Noah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but maybe I did mention this. I know you probably are aware of this, but one of the coolest things, the first time I saw you on Ethan's stream, and on Comicsgate Live, the thing that I kept coming back to and I thought was really great is knowing that Ethan has a younger brother named Noah, and just thinking about how that must put a smile on his face, you know, to see another Noah doing comics. And yeah, it was cool to see, man. It was cool to see. I hope you are doing well, and I hope work goes well, man. Yeah, and thank you again, Sumo Thori, man. You legend, you. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Look. The best thing that Comicsgate ever did for me, and the Fandom Menace as well, was in those early days, just the amount of laughter that we needed to have. Like, we just needed to get laughing. And we needed to get creating, and we needed to get selling things, but we sold things in a lot of ways. The creators on this, well, first of all, let's be really clear. Some people just have so many gifts and incredible gifts for you know, just attracting eyeballs and promoting things, and that can never be overstated. But the other aspect of it is that the ability to have fun and just kind of go with the flow in terms of the silliness that goes on here is something that cannot be. Yeah, I can't overstate how fun that was. And whether it was, you know, Jeff from back in the day going into the toy aisles and looking at things back before, you know, Toys R Us, R.I.P., you know, was gone. And, you know, just all of the folks who were talking about this kind of stuff, Ethan opening up Rose Tico figures and all of that stuff. It may not seem like that was the foundation for all of this stuff. All, you know, a guy sitting down and meticulously painting a comic book and, you know, doing this YouTube stuff to market his work. But that stuff it was big. It was big for me because I had to, if I was going to, you know, if you're going to go from point A to point B, you need sometimes, and I'm a New Englander, but you need a lighthouse, you know, to tell you where the rocks are, but also, you know, to help guide you. And there were a lot of creators who came out during that time who were lighthouses for, look, this is crazy, but look, we could do it. What if we did it ourselves? What if we did it ourselves? What if the artwork and everything that we want to see, what if we got together people with high-level skill and we did it ourselves? And that's why that Comicsgate thing, which I'm going to put up as a shirt on the same... Yeah, the link is in the description to the Iron Age t-shirts and things if you want to get them. I took that logo, cleaned it up, and put it on as much stuff as I possibly could. What I really want to do is do the CG, Hold Fast, Outclass, Outlast, CG for Life square t-shirt. I'm definitely going to do that one and put it up there. I tried to put that stuff up before and on another site, and of course it was pulled for whatever reason. I mean, again, you can't ever know what the heck people are going to do, but right now it's been working pretty well, so people are getting t-shirts, and the main thing is to get these t-shirts out there, give people a way to show their support, but also make it something concrete that they have, and that's why, you know, that Iron Age logo was so fun. I heard Razorfist talking about it on another podcast. He was being interviewed, and the thing that was interesting, he said, this is like an era of comics. It's not anything that's owned, or, you know, like, I can't give you the definition of what this thing is outside of the basics. And I think that's what people, that's what the attraction is to what we're doing in Comicsgate, which, I think of Comicsgate very much as being so what I'm looking for, as being kind of a more sort of specific part of this thing, this part that I'm a part of what, people like Tom McDonald are doing, when he's dropping albums and just, making a lot of money by cutting the record labels out. It's a lot of shipping. It's a lot of hard work. I mean, they're exhausting themselves, but they're getting it done, man. Oh, dude, I love it. I ordered my Iron Age on a dark gray shirt, nice contrast, and you can get any size, which I like. I want people to be able to pick the colors and the sizes they want for these shirts, man. Yeah, I think Razor Fist is on side scrollers again today. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, he does really great with these interviews. I feel like he's kind of getting out there a lot more lately, and that's wonderful. It's wonderful to see him getting out there and talking about this stuff and really just championing it. But the things he said about writing, because it was interesting when I watched the Eric July Razor Fist interview. What was interesting to me about it was when they got into metalcore and heavy metal music, right? What was also interesting to me was when he was on with this writer, he started talking about how he approached writing a novel, what his inspiration was, and gave some really great thoughts. For all of you guys who are aspiring writers out there, it's worth a watch. I wish I could remember what channel it was on. It was like 6 or 7 days ago, so it was fairly recent. Let me see. Let me adjust my glasses. Let me see here. Someone was saying they weren't a fan of Iron Age and EVS, but I see it as an era, so CG is a part of that era, so Rippa and all the other non-CG creators in the same era. Yeah, and I think, I just see overlap there. I mean, I think that the terminology just makes it easier for people to, it makes it easier for people who are doing things that, because it's weird. Like, I'll give you a good example. Eric Weathers is releasing an album on Battle Brick Road 2. Yeah, they're getting to be bifocals, let me tell you. They're absolutely getting to be bifocals. Man, it's gotten rough. It's gotten rough, Stephen Rockwood. But when I look at, there's an absolute overlap. I mean, we all know each other. We all talk to each other. And I think we all have, we have different, specifics, I'm sure, each and every one of us. But the thing that sort of ties us all together is something that is almost very, it's difficult to articulate. But I think the Iron Age makes a lot of sense for, creators who are doing things that are music, for example. And how do you describe that? How do you describe that kind of stuff? But then at the same time, you've got a Comicsgate vinyl record coming out from Eric Weathers, man, on Battle Brick Road 2. So I love it. Like, I love all that stuff. But, Ethan, the thing that's amazing is when I remember I was watching the streams when Ethan, people were saying, are you Comicsgate, are you this, are you that, to Ethan. Like, this was way back in the day, because Comicsgate was more or less more of a criticism until the first Indiegogo campaign and attempt at a Kickstarter campaign, I think. I mean, John's got the history down way better than I do, and I have a video that Pete Cimetti was kind enough to let me clip. That's one of the easiest and best streamlined John Malin interviews. But the thing about it for me is that, Ethan invested a lot of time and energy taking what was a derogatory label and turning it into something that is a thriving place for creators to make things. And I was watching last night, I think I was in bed. I was half dead after a lot of days of streaming, and I was watching Ethan do a stream promoting books and doing things, and he's just kind of guy who just gets back up on that horse and does it. I think that's what we all have in common. We just want to be left alone to create, speak to our audience, and make things. And in that way, we're not really, systematized and put into that type of perspective where I don't think any of us are eager to be, told what to do is the best way. We want to be able to inspire people. Yep, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. It was crazy. Gold, silver, bronze, tin, iron. That's 100% what it is, yeah. And that's what we were doing. We just want cool stuff. 40% Zed, what's up? It's great to see you. Leave Vice Admiral Gender Studies alone. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I've got a real soft spot for EVS, period. But yeah, you're right. When I was rolling around in pain, unable to sleep and still, hello, the theme came on. Yes, took my mind off of everything. It was the same way for me. So I was commuting 90 miles up and 90 miles back from work, uphill both ways in the snow, as I love to say. And actually, oftentimes it was in the snow and uphill both ways. But, and I'd come home and I was, there was no escapism to be had. There was no attempt at honest escapism being created. I was listening to all of this complete and utter silliness. Discourse on college campuses, as Jordan Peterson was another person who was inspiring to me at the time and still is. He was talking about, just how campus discourse and free speech had come apart. That's, where I kind of came out of. But the other aspect of it was fun. And I'm fairly certain that my next live from the Waffle Lodge is, and who knows when it'll be. Will it be tonight? Will it be tomorrow night? I'm not quite sure. But it is going to be an EFAP of my favorite section from one of my favorite streams of all time in this, from 2018, which is the Into the Pie Baron stream. And so I'm going to invite anybody who's in the Waffle Lodge to come on and watch and check it out. The guys I've got in the whatever the room is. But I want to do that because I think it's a great reminder of just our history and our past and just how funny it was. So you get to see Cecil in 2018, and John, I don't think, showed his face that entire stream, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was still doing the Muppet hecklers. I can't believe I'm blanking on their names. This is embarrassing. But he was doing that. That was his icon, and 40% Zed, always great to see you, man. So yeah, so I want to do that at some point because I think it's weirdly, it's a stream that has so many things that are, Comicsgate, I don't want to say cliches, but Comicsgate, has always got going on, drama, people, being ridiculous. But then the main focus of it is, of course, these three guys having a ridiculous night out, even though two of them stay home. So it was a ridiculous night in, maybe, with one person being out and live streaming from Walmart. It was awesome. It was such a great stream. Yeah. Yeah, nice Jersey Devil, Pine Barrens, Ghost Hunt stream. Yes, I loved it. Yeah. EVS was able to confirm a lot of my suspicions regarding going-ons in the comics behind the scenes, having seen what's happening in gaming. Yeah, and I would say, too, Razorfist did a video that was, I think it was the one that was Don't Cry About the Culture, Become the Culture, but it could have been another one of those great videos he did. And the thing I loved about it was he basically described my experience going to comic conventions trying to get work. It was, because I've always wondered, did anyone else see it that way? 100%. It was such a great descriptor of, just how, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but how cronyistic and how anti bringing in new blood and people with skill it was. And the cool thing is, in Comicsgate, you don't really have to ask permission. You have to go out there and do your best. What's up, Tammy D? How are you doing? It is great to see you. Oh crap, where did my membership go? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's something that can be figured out. So I have this thing that happened when I get a new credit card and then all of my stuff gets completely blanked. So yeah, you become a member again, and you will get a cheerleader for that. Because that's one plus to having it go haywire. But yeah, that stuff happens to me. I mean, I can barely, tell what's going on. Razor was also around for CG. Yep, and I'm sure he saw it. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I'm telling you, whenever I change something, it's crazy. Like, it goes to do things, and I get my cascade of your thing was this, and I have to figure out where. There it is. Yes. It's Statler and Waldorf. You've got it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna auto correct you no matter what when you type that in, which is so weird. that autocorrect, I'm sure, has broken up relationships, I'm convinced, with some of the things it suggests, man. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, I mean, those were some crazy times, and I look at them with a lot of nostalgia. I mean, when you were... Whatever anybody says about CG right now, CG is a force. You've got... And again, I'm going to use CG and Iron Age a little bit interchangeably here, but honestly, I don't really... It's not something that's keeping me up at night. But when they started seeing folks like Razor Fist and Eric July and Ethan crushing it financially, and of course it started with John and your boy Zach, and then of course CyberFrog raising of the first issue of CyberFrog in its various incarnations going way over $1 million, it became a much better... It became a lot less scary to come into this place. And then there was the issue of dealing with creators who really wanted to stay here and build something versus people who wanted to kind of pop in and be like, hello, not like Cecil, though. That sounded like I was doing Cecil for a minute. And Cecil is ride or die. But it was one of those things where people came in and that was the other part of it, but they were risking a lot. Those early creators who came in, yeah, they may have made some money, but there were people who were just digging through people's lives recreationally, trying to wreck them during that time. It was scary to step into this space. So, John being the first man over the wall, and then Ethan coming in, and how hard you have to work to do this. You're giving up the security of someone else handling the printing. And of course, we've got channel member Michael Bancroft in the house. It is great to see you, brother. Let me see. Enjeti Intelligence. Sure? This is some rad AI art. Oh, I get what you're saying. That's hilarious. Yeah, I know, man. It's, yeah, AI art seems more and more fun sometimes. But no, I got to do it, man. I got to connect with the paper and you guys. Old Mother Leeds had 12 children. On the night of her 13th conception, she cursed the child. May he be a devil, she cried. And thus the child became a devil and haunts the barrens. It was such a great stream, man. It was such a great stream. Love the folkloric story of the Jersey Devil. I do too. I've been trying to come up with a design for it, but it's really hard. Like, I want to do a character version of it, but it's hard. I'm working on that, and unbelievably well timed, and for kind of horrific sort of reasons. But I started, as you guys know, I mean, it's on the stream. I started working on an idea for the Jewish folk character of the Golem, which I know a lot of people have done Golem characters, but I was kind of, I want to do one that's actually tied to, the Old Testament and those in certain traditions, and also do something new in an interesting way. So I'm always fascinated by folklore and really cool stuff like that. Let's see here. Michael, I'm drawing Ella without nipples just for you, says Stephen Rockwood drawing. And again, Stephen, I just have to tell you, man, some of those time lapses you're doing and those streams of you working are really great, man. I love when they come up, and I hope more people are subscribing to Stephen Rockwood Drawings channel. Stephen, please put a link in the chat for people to go and subscribe if they haven't already. But yeah, there's some really great artwork coming out right now. I woke up this morning to text from the great Eric Weathers, and we're talking about painting today, talking about traditional media. I mean, gosh, you can't do much better than this crazy crew. And I saw Eric Huffles in here before, and I was thinking about all the great work that Eric's been doing, which is fantastic. So all of you guys are getting it done. And just, again, the positivity. I think that positivity is infectious in a great sense, and I think negativity is contagious. And so I want to spread the infection of positivity, infectious positivity. That's what it's about. You're a saint, Stephen Rockwood Drawing. Saint Nipples. Saint Nipples. You guys are killing me, man. The chat's always killing me. But, yeah, so it's, when I get to a stage like this where, because it's going to be blending into this water, but it's going to be clearly delineated because I want it to sort of meld into a tree. Because there's all these great, the hardest thing about working on the Lucent, for me anyway, is how many great images you have to choose from. It's got very poetic imagery. Thank you, Stephen Rockwood. Everybody, if you have not subscribed to Stephen Rockwood Drawings channel, please do. He posts great videos, time-lapse videos of his art process. And if you like his image that he's got right there, that's an example of his beautiful work. So do go check it out, you know. St. Nicholas sounds better. Oh, man. You guys are killing me. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah. So, as I started working on it, and I start to put this stuff together, because I'm working both opaquely and transparently when I do this type of style. And it's the same when I work in gouache. It's just a little trickier in certain ways, although they both have their different tricks that you got to get used to. I have the ability to carve sort of negative space out into this form. So if I get something that I think is, it's a little too solid, I want to have some little pockets in it of light breaking through, I can always do that. But in this early stage, it's about trying to keep it flowing so that the subject matter doesn't get drowned out. I feel like I'm making unintentional bad puns here. Keep it flowing so the subject matter doesn't get drowned out. Come on, man. Don't be sorry, Shanth. Be better. And trying to figure out that stuff so that the twists and turns are there. I actually had a lot of trouble with the CYBERFROG piece for that reason, because I wanted to get that flow, and CYBERFROG is such a technically tough characters. And I can't be... Wait, I'm missing something. I need some extra prayers today. My mom's husband is actively dying, and I can't be there. Oh, Tammy D. As soon as I wrap up this stream, consider it done. As soon as I wrap up this stream, it's done. Hello, John. It's great to see you. Much love to your family, Tammy, from ours to yours. And yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. And John, great to see you, brother. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Nicholas the Wise? Well, not a story I think the Bancroft would tell you. He was a dark bogan of the Sith who became so powerful, the only thing he feared was losing it, which of course eventually he did. He had his nipples stolen by his apprentice, who he taught everything he knows. There you go. That's what I've got for you, man. No, Tammy D. No. We are people. We are human beings, man, and we're here for. Look, guys. Actually, let me tell you this. I don't want to say that. We don't know why we're here, but when we're here, we're just present. That's the most important thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, sorry to hear that, Tammy D. Your family have my prayers. Absolutely right. The only thing he feared was cold weather and thin fabric. Michael, yeah, we got to get to the bottom of this. There's another unintentional pun. I cannot stop myself. I am in fuego today. That is the way it is. So yeah, I think right about there is where I'm going to put in a little bit of a breakthrough. And I love, this is the thing I love about showing people the painting process, right? So you just saw me put that mark in there. Let me zoom on it a little bit so you guys can see. Zoom and enhance. Let me zoom in on it a little bit just so you can see what I did. So I just did a little noodly line in there because I felt like that area was a perfect spot to kind of allow the paint and the color to break through. So now I'm going to show you what I do, which isn't rocket science, but how that works in terms of the effect it has on how I do this. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, and I'm going to make it gray because I don't want to make it pure white, because that will make it that'll make the color have to work a lot more to cover up that value. So I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to put that in, and I might make it a little bit lighter. There we go. And again, it's just how, it's just going with the flow of it when you're painting. But if you can see that right there, what that's going to create going forward is it's going to create a little pocket of value right in there that I can kind of make it feel like it's breaking up, so it's not so solid. Because you want to kind of almost use it like when you're doing hatching in your work. Let me zoom back out so you guys can see. When you're doing hatching in your work, what you want to do, you kind of sometimes will spread your hatching out to make things go lighter. for me, when I'm doing detail density, sometimes I make the detail more dense, and then I'll slowly, it's dense in this section, then it's going to open up and be not as dense right there, then it's going to get dense again, then it's going to open up on the other side. So I'm stepping it almost in the same way that you would do if you were doing this as cross-hatching. That's the same approach that I take, you know? Yeah, please try to check in. Yeah, check in with us and let us know how you are doing. Are you particularly close to them? There you go. Wonderful, John. Love seeing it. You guys are good. And then I've got he. There you go. That's right. Yeah, I know. 40% Zed. Listen, rock and roll. You know, rock and roll. I know. Look at Zed is. I finally made Zed's day. I think Zed isn't. Zed has found his happy place here on this stream. That is the key. That is the key. So then I can just kind of go in and just slowly, I'll build up that section, and then I will show you how that kind of makes its way into the painting process. So now what I'm going to do, because I've been using this great color, my wife got me this color that is, it's a common color used in painting. I've seen a lot of people use it. Let's see if I can make this happen. Sorry for the camera hijinks now, but then if you've already survived the first part of this show, then you'll survive this. So here's the thing. What's up, Green Laser? How are you doing, my friend? Love seeing you guys in here. Let me see. Okay, got all this stuff. So now here's the trick. Here's how this stuff works. Now I'm going to take this color, which is quinacridone. Don't ask me to pronounce it twice. Purple or violet, which is kind of an earthy purple, and I'll take that. And I'll mix it up so I can get a wash going. I better move this hat because it's going to get paint on it the way I've got it set up there. But I'm going to take this purple here, and I'm going to start putting it into this section right here, starting with that shadow. And then I'm going to wash that in. And when I get up to that lighter area that I've left right in there, then you can start to see how it's going to open up that space. Do you see what I mean? See how that shadow kind of comes together, and it's going to allow that to create just this little pocket of a lighter value. And so I can leave a little bit of that highlight there. I mean, I'll probably wash over that in a second, but it's not essential for what I'm doing right now. And then the same thing with this side right here. I'm going to go in and just wash a little bit of that purple in there. And then there we go. We're going to start to see that area that is sort of a light gray is going to become a highlight area on which the light is kind of coming through, and then all the trees are twisting and stuff like that. Yeah, purple, I approve, says John. Yeah, John is a big believer in purple. That is the key. Yeah, oh, yeah. That purple drank. That's the key. It said, hello, said Cecil's voice. Did you just quote Van Halen? Yeah, you got to roll with the punches to get to what's real. As always. You bet I do. Yeah, I like to quote Van Halen whenever I can, my friend. You know, when I hear a Van Halen quote, it's always going to be in David Lee Roth's voice, too. Diamond, David Lee Roth. That's right. Yeah, man. That's the key. That's one of my favorite lyrics. It's just great. There's some great lyrics out there, though, from those cats. God bless them. God rest Eddie. My goodness. So, yeah, so now that I've got that little section in there, I'll show you a little bit of... Because it's hard to avoid... Michael's favorite complementary color set is blue and orange. My favorite complementary color set's blue and orange. I've always used it. It's on the first... It's on the first Spring Ball issue. It's everywhere. It's on my first paintings I did. Was blue-orange, which was one of Maxfield Parrish's favorite colors, and that's where I learned color theory from. And so, you know, I try to keep this painting. I want to keep a good range on it so that it's you know, kind of stands on its own, and I want to bring people in to, you know, basically my attitude is when you're doing work for somebody, they've got, or commission for somebody, they've got what they do great covered. You want to do something that complements that and expands it so that you can help, you know, bring new eyes to it. And, you know, that's the thing. And certainly so you can satisfy the current eyes that are on the project. That was the job with the Razor Fist piece. That's the job with everything I do. is to make sure that I'm kind of, because I want people to be happy. I want the creators to be happy when I do stuff. I don't want them to be miserable or disappointed. I want them to like it. I want people to be excited, because there's a lot of enthusiasm in there when people, purchase a painting from you. What's it going to be? What's it going to look like? Yeah, I said it's okay to like Van Hagar, man. It's okay. Right Now is a good pop song right there, but there's many others. I'm doing 2 spreads in blue and orange right now. Yeah, it's my favorite color palette, man. Not talking about love. Yeah, you got to. I can't do it. I can't do Hagar. I can't even do the song right, but that's because I can't drive 55. That's right. Yeah. I don't hate, I just prefer. I know what you mean. Yeah, hey, listen. That was a substantial amount of Van Halen. That was a substantial amount of Van Halen. So, yeah. You gotta give respect there, man. And David Lee Roth, like, that was the crazy thing about it, right? David Lee Roth and Van Halen at that start, was one thing. And when bands have been around for a certain amount of time, they're going to go through a lot of changes, changing of people in there. And then sometimes you get a really great combination that is different than the first one, but works in its own right. And I think that's pretty much what you saw happen with Van Halen. I mean, that was a huge part of it anyway for me. But yeah, I mean, shoot, I'll take good music any day. I don't care where it comes from. Yeah, it's been a few years since he passed. I know, isn't that wild? That news, that's that kind of news that just really kind of hit me, because like for every kid in that generation, it was Eddie Van Halen, and for many generations, I should say, as a result of that. So let's see here. Oh, this will be tricky. I'm gonna try something that could get me into trouble, but we'll try it anyway. Because, you don't usually ever try to erase over paint when it's drying, but fortunately, I've been doing this for a bit, so I can kind of make my way through it. But this right here, I want to get some of those pencils up before I wash over it. It's weird, too. I mean, this is the weird thing about doing traditional artwork. You really want it to feel like traditional artwork. I'm not trying to make stuff that looks like it was created digitally, because I make digital artwork and I love digital for what it is. How do I word this? I like digital artwork. I truly like digital artwork because for being digital, I don't need it to try to be oil paints. I don't need it to try to be anything else, if that makes sense. And so I like it for what it is. And when I'm doing traditional, I don't ever try to make it Photoshop or, the same way around, because I think I have enough respect for it to be what it is, what it wants to be. And it doesn't need to, doesn't need to be anything else. Like, I don't understand if there's a look somebody is going for, then I say go for the look, but don't think of, make your work is the best way I could put it. Just make your work by hook or by crook. Like, I support people. If any of my fellow CG creators, ever want me to, do a stream where I show them painting stuff or they ask me painting questions, I'm always down for that. We'll have to schedule it out, because I think that it's all good for the soul. We were talking earlier at the start of the stream that it's important to, it's important to do things physically every now and again, like that are, out in the real world every now and again. Even if it's as simple as just playing catch with a friend, and tossing the ball around or whatever it is. I think that stuff is really good for us. And it's the same thing with traditional media or just writing in a journal. I don't know. Like, I think that one of the most the most insidious things about social media has been that everybody feels like that it doesn't count or things aren't important if they're not done in public. Where I sort of, one of the things I've often talked about is some of the best creative stuff you can do, like you do in private. Like, when you're writing a book, if you're sharing it with people when it's in its infancy, sometimes that's not the best way to get productive and get creative, and that's what it is. I love it, man. Yeah, Eddie was an amazing artist, 100%. Oh, Jamie's crying. I love it, man. Oh, these callbacks are so great, man. Love it. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in just making the best work that you can make, and keeping yourself in that zone as an artist where you're making stuff and seeing where it goes. There was this art story that they used to tell, and I guess it was an actual study, but it's almost become urban, an urban legend. But there was a story they told where they said that they broke up these art classes into 2 different groups, and one group, they were pottery classes, and one group was going to be measured on the quantity of pots that they made. They had to be pots, they had to work, but they had to be a lot of them. And the other group was going to be, given a grade based on whatever their best pot was. So it didn't matter if they only made 1 pot. If it was really, really great, then they would get an A. And the grades were 1 was quantity, 1 was just quality. And what was really interesting is all of the best work came from the quantity class, because the more you do something and then call it finished and move on to the next one, the better you get. And laboring on something for too long is not going to help you to get there. Now, would anybody really want to be watched while they're doing that learning process? Some would, some wouldn't. But I would say that for a lot of us, it can be really nice to do these things, in private. And here's my case for social media. This is weird because it's a little bit of both. Depends on your temperament. When I started doing this painted work, one of the biggest motivators for me in the world was I'd started on Instagram, and I felt guilty when I didn't post on Instagram. So I just kept making work, and that helped me. But it's got to be however you approach it. You know what I mean? I like to watch. There you go. That's right. Man, oh my gosh. You guys are killing me. Yeah. I love this kind of stuff. Like, I love, I've seen people who do YouTube videos, and they do, daily or weekly paintings or whatever, and then they go back and they show a time lapse of how their work has changed over that time, and sometimes that's a really useful tool as well. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity, and there's lots to be said for just keeping your eye on the ball and keeping yourself thinking in terms of making sure you spend as much time physically making things or doing things like going for walks, all that good stuff. That's always good for you. There's not a single time I can think of where having those good habits is a bad idea. Like, it's a little chilly out here in my neck of the woods. And one of the things that my wife was talking about doing, and she goes, we got to roast marshmallows. Like, it's gotten cold enough. We got to have an outdoor fire. We have one of those cheap little metal fire pit things that's worked great. We've used it for a while. And she's like, we got to roast some marshmallows. Making time to do stuff like that during the season is a really great way to feel like you've done something with the time. And to feel like, I don't know, it's hard. That's where you make a lot of the memories, I think. And hanging out and being here with good people, it's the same thing for me. What am I going to do? Am I going to just, am I going to miss out on this? Nah. I'll spend time with you guys. So there you go. And look at how those colors start to react, too. That's a little bit more, I don't know, actually, I can't tell because I'm looking at them at an angle every time I paint, but you can sort of see how, do you see the paint kind of melting into it? It's wild. Yeah, s'mores, John. S'mores are the way. Yeah, bow to Mrs. Enjetti. She is wise. She is very wise. Yeah. Roasting your marshmallows. That's right, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Shout out, Green Laser. 100%, man. I love seeing it. It's good to see, guys. Yeah, I mean, we're doing some great stuff. I was looking at, I am going to unbox them. I just want to do an actual proper unboxing video, but I'm looking at doing an unboxing for the CYBERFROG figures, because I do think I'm going to take them out of the package. The problem is the package looks really dynamite on those things, but I'd love to do an unboxing. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, this is going to be a great piece, Michael. I mean, I knew it was going to be, but it is what it is. Yeah, oh, for heaven's sake. This is getting spooky. We were roasting marshmallows just the other day. Michael, stop. Oh, Michael, man. We've got some weird connections, man. It's like, I guess you've got that hemisphere covered. I've got this hemisphere covered. Who knows? That is a trip, dude. That is a trip. Yeah, if for those of you guys who are not paying attention to the Shanth and Michael lore, as it evolves. Yeah, it's some crazy stuff that tends to line up, man. Some crazy stuff. What are you gonna do? Michael Bancroft, are you going to start singing It's a Small World now? Yeah, that's right. Well, you are in the upside down, Bancroft. That's true. That's right. Shanth is Darkcroft. That's right. Oh, my lord. Yeah. Holy cow. That's such a trip, man. But nothing surprises me these days, man. I was saying this on the last stream. When I was streaming and I was talking about growing up in Michigan, this was after I moved from that barbershop quartet I was singing in Skokie, Illinois, and Dan Lawless was like, where? And it turns out that he was delivering papers to my house when I was a kid. He lived so close. Like, we were practically neighbors. I was like, okay. Sure. I'll go with this. Whatever. It's so crazy, man. Crazy stuff is a very common thread in this work, man. Very common thread here. I really do think that sometimes you cross paths with people a few times before you actually meet in person, and that could be online, that could be anywhere else. It's crazy. Yeah. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. I believe it. The stairs are the key to the Lucent. They are the key to the Lucent, man. You gotta have those stairs in there, and you gotta have that cowbell. I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. Yeah, you gotta have those stairs in there, man. Lawless was Sean's paperboy. Yeah, I was like a little kid. He has a couple of years on me, and I'm like, what? What? Because I remembered my address, so he could look it up and see where it was, and he's like, oh yeah, I know Hampton Road. I used to be there. So, yeah, that's a trip. Yeah, and that's the thing with this, right? You zoom out a little bit here. There you go. But if we zoom out, ooh, that's a lot of zooming out. That's a little too much zooming out. We ran out of space. You can see how those stairs are coming together. Everything... Okay, I think you guys can see this, but everything is sort of shifting into this. It's not going to be a perfect spiral. It's going to be sort of more just like, you know, a circular kind of flow to it. So that it's an infinite, this is so Lucent, but it's like an infinite, you know, piece in that sense. You just keep moving around. The stairs breaking up and... you know, the well breaking up. It's this idea of both the liquids, the solids, the elemental forces, the fire, the water, the electricity, all of it. It's all moving in concert. That matter is not truly solid, that there's even solid matter has moving molecule. I mean, that's the stuff I think about. And 100%, I was thinking about that just the other day. We were watching a really great underrated movie that if you've never seen it, it's so worth a watch. It's really an uplifting and fascinating flick, and it was a tough movie to sell. Joe versus the Volcano. If you've never seen Joe versus the Volcano, or you haven't seen it recently, it hits you very differently at different ages. But it's an incredible movie, and it's one of my wife's favorite movies, and I absolutely love it. We watched it last night, and it was a great experience, man. It was just a really great experience because it talks about this, that it has literal leaps of faith in it. It has how, you know, you get this sense of how things are working and how small we are, but how fortunate we are to have these lives and be in this space. And it's great, man. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Escher, totally. Yeah. When I heard comics was Lawless part-time job, I was surprised considering how good he is. Yeah, he's incredible. He's incredible. And he was working at it for a while, too. Yeah, just watched that movie about a month ago. Holy cow. Hey, Lauren. Eric just watched Joe versus the Volcano about a month ago. Good man, she says. So Mrs. Enjetti says good man, but we already knew that. Mrs. Enjetti and I were already big fans of Eric Weathers, but that only makes it more obvious that we were correct in our understanding of it. But it's just a really hilarious but great, like, it has funny bits in it and it has serious soulful bits in it, and it's a movie that I think guys and gals will really enjoy because it talks about some very it talks about some great subjects in terms of the human condition and everything else in a way that I don't know if people were ready for when it came out. In terms of, I don't think that's where it wasn't I don't want to sound that like people weren't ready. It was more that movies come out in the time periods and comics come out in the time periods that they come out in, and sometimes they're going to just be that's the God and all that stuff, man. That's the things you can't control. That's the mystery. Like, what makes something a huge hit? I mean, Game of Thrones has been around for ages. So many people were like, yeah, Game of Thrones, I've been reading that since the 80s, right? But it hit its time with that TV show, and it just went supernova. And then J.K. Rowling writes Harry Potter, and it goes supernova as soon as it came out. That's why we laugh about... my wife and I were just laughing about Spring Ball, because if there's one thing I swore I would never do, because I needed to move on from the project, was return to Spring Ball. And then all these things beyond my control, just kind of were saying, do it. And I'm like, who am I to not listen, That's right, Joe Dirt, the greatest mullet ever. Yep, Mrs. Enjeti is wise. I know, I say it all the time. What's up, Neon Todd? How are you doing, my friend? It's great to see you. Let's see here. Make sure I got everybody here in the chat. Yeah, guys. Please hit the like if you have not yet, and thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. Makes these painting streams we do all the better. Even if they do start off a little rough with camera difficulties, which, that again, it does happen. It does happen. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I love, it's really funny. I love color, but I tell people all the time, I was terrified of painting. Terrified of painting. And color, in terms of even using crayons and markers, going back to childhood, I was terrified of it. And so I always say this, if I could teach myself how to paint, I could teach anybody how to do it, and to not be afraid of it. The biggest thing people run into is, frankly, not doing, just not limiting their palette. Use 2 colors, complementary colors, either blue, orange, yellow, purple, or red, green, black, and white, and do a painting. And you can get as close to a full color painting as you can, and you will be impressed by, what comes out of that. Let's see, Camel Moon took a childhood project and made it a reality. Boots and Heels, 100%. I've painted it too, yeah. Neon Todd Shanth, I keep forgetting to ask, have you been to House of the Rock in, is that Wisconsin? I have not. I went there recently for the first time, and I thought this seems like something Shanth would be into. I will absolutely Google that and look that up. 100%. Yeah, I love when you guys tell me that stuff. Yeah, Simply Green, scarily so. Yeah, there's so much cool stuff out there, guys. There's that's what's cool about it too, right? Isn't this what the comic shop was? Isn't this what the convention was? Have you heard of this cool thing? And that sometimes drives the creation of all this stuff. It's wild. Yeah, I love when you guys tell me about new things I haven't heard of, because I can then just go and look them up, and having it in the stream makes it easier to find. Look at that. That's crazy. Yeah, you never know when you start a painting. You just have this. Talk about leaps of faith. When you start a painting like this, and this is, for me, 12 by 18, because I always do my cover projects bigger than I do my now my mind is mixed. My Nosfero stuff. It's a whole different thing, because these are standalone paintings. I'm doing something a little bit different with it. But you never know how they're going to come out. You're basically just jumping onto this white piece of paper, and you're hoping it works out. And here you go. That's what it comes down to. YouTube being fuzzy. Lag. I don't know why it's lagging. That's kind of weird. Let me double check and see where we're at here. I don't think anybody's streaming here, but you never know. Let me see here. Shanth, do you ever paint things other than canvas, like little plastic army men from the grimdark future? Here's what's interesting. I have done some painting and some customization, nothing I can reach right now, on action figures. I have some miniatures that Dan Plagle is actually doing paintings on. I might do some paintings of those. So yeah, I mean, I tried it a few times, and I've definitely customized some of the stuff I have around here. I'm just looking to see if I can find any of the stuff I've customized. But yeah, it typically falls into customizing action figures and things like that. I'll paint those. But yeah, I love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. I mean, we were talking about, the craziest thing is how good action figures have gotten since I've got the good camera today. Oh, the police are coming. It's over. They're coming for me, guys. I can show you guys in high resolution. This is not, I didn't do anything to this. This is right out of the box. This is the NECA creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the paint job. And it was made to look exactly like the few color photos that exist of the character. I mean, look at how ridiculous this is. This is so great for reference. And I'm doing a painting of it right now. So yeah, YouTube police are here. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'd like to, when things are not that, aren't well painted, I like to customize them if I can. But it's a blast. Yeah, like I was painting a I don't even know where it is. I was painting a werewolf figure and a base recently because it had like this tree base and there was, kind of like blood on the base of it, but it was all very kind of, haphazardly done, and I wanted to make it look better. So I just went in and worked into it. And it wasn't an expensive figure, so it wasn't, I tend to, how do I word it? The only time I really tend to get annoyed with stuff is when it breaks and things like that. But most of the time, if I see something that's a little off about something, I mean, just that I have a differing in taste, it's usually done correctly, I just go and customize it myself, and I know not everybody has that ability, to do things like that. And believe it or not, I really don't have it as good as some of these crazy... I mean, you guys know, if you're on YouTube and you like painting miniatures and you watch some of these people out there, there's this cat who paints airplane model kits, and he does all of this stuff. Yeah, don't let the fuzz seize the painting. I know, right? 100%. Yeah. It's this guy does it, and he does the gets all the different kinds of metal correct, the dirt from the engine and the grime of the plane, even though it looks like pristine. And I just look at this guy and I'm like, how do you do that? So incredible, man. So incredible. But until I got this, I'm at this stage right now, which is so much easier. I mean, there's the technical challenges, of course, for figures and lighting and fabric. But this is the place I've been really trying to get to on this painting this entire time, which was solving the flow of it, the overall flow, because I wanted there to be, even though it can frustrate people sometimes to cut off any bit of a painting, but I wanted there to be some, so this could have many uses. I wanted it to have a nice bleed space on it, but I wanted that bleed space to be activated so that there wasn't a dead space on this painting. Like, that's not something I was really interested in. And once you start locking, it's like building a puzzle, except for in this case I have to start in the middle, which is not my favorite thing in the world to do. But you can start from the edges, and you can, once you get the edges on there, then it just starts to go exponentially faster. And one of the funniest things, like, I just was remembering this when I was a kid because someone was asking me about building puzzles. I remember I was building puzzles, and it dawned on me that if you know that you have all the pieces, and you know that the pieces can only go one way into one puzzle, and I took 3 puzzles and I poured the pieces from 3 puzzle sets out together in a pile on the floor, and I tried to build the 3 puzzles. That's the kind of stuff that's how my brain works. And that's probably the closest thing to this. It's like taking 3 puzzles, mixing the pieces together, and then trying to solve them. That's the way that I would say this process is like for me, is, that. Because you have to there's so much going on in this work. Like, there's so much when you're doing paint. There's the paint, there's the colors, there's the combinations. The funniest thing I've ever watched, and I will joyously mock this person mercilessly for this because it was so ridiculous, is I had a colleague once who wanted to borrow one of the office iPads, and they tried, and if you know the iPad, it's a 9-digit code, and you get 3 tries and it locks you out. And she was attempting to guess the code, and I was like, do you have any idea how nope, not that one. I was like, stop. One more and you're locked out. You can't guess a 9-digit code like that. What the hell is wrong with you? It was the funniest thing. I was just like, oh my lord. Like, basic, reality seems to have disappeared in that instance. The hell. Yeah, you see stuff like that. Like, that's something that, like, I would do as a kid at, like, maybe, like, 5 or 6 or something like that, or 8, is try to guess a 9-digit code. I was like, that is, like, if you ever watch, people who study physics and things like that, and they talk about, how many different combinations there are with just 2 Lego bricks that are 2x6s, I think it is. And I forget how many it is, but yeah, it's crazy. Like, you need very complicated equations to even approach what that number would be. It's why it works. You know, it's nuts. There we go. Let me see what we got here. Awesome. Laugh out loud. Yeah. He is special, yeah. Shanth might need to send this to Bancroft as a puzzle he must assemble for use to print. Oh, man, yeah. I think it would probably make you guys much more upset if you saw me cutting into this thing. I never do anything ridiculous, never. Same here. Now, what if those puzzle pieces came... game mechanics... Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. There are more ways to shuffle a deck of cards than there have been seconds in the universe thus far. I know, Michael. Absolutely true. That is why my two favorite people in the world... That's why... I'm sorry for all the banging, guys. That is why my two favorite people in the world are what David Blaine does with card tricks. But the one that really blows my mind is what this guy who was on this Penn and Teller show, who calls himself the card mechanic, does with card tricks. Because he's legally blind. Like, he's blind. He cannot see anything. He started losing his vision, and he does card tricks. I don't even understand what he's doing. They couldn't either. They had to guess what he was doing. It made no sense. Yeah, can you do the Rainbow Shuffle, Bancroft? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Fractal 52 is an incomprehensibly large number. 100%. Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's not Thumper upstairs. That's Thumper's that's Thumper's mom. That's one of the kids. But yeah, it's wild to think about. So this guy who refers to himself, he goes, I'm a card mechanic, because he doesn't consider it magic tricks. He knows how to, like, he was doing, like, he was showing how he deals seconds. He was showing how he does, gosh, what's that thing he did? What the heck? Oh, sorry, I'm just hearing a buzzing sound. Oh, I gotta call him back. Yeah, he does all of this incredibly crazy stuff, and it's wild, man. You know, he can shuffle the deck, of course, and cut the deck with one hand, but he does martial arts, and he had one of my favorite quotes where he said, blindness is not the worst disability. The worst disability in the world is laziness and procrastination. And I went, wow, that dude is serious. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's truly unbelievable. Yeah, yeah, man. It's crazy town. 100% crazy town. When you watch that stuff, you just think, wow, okay. I used to crack this joke whenever I'd show something great to my students because I think it's worth pointing out. And it's my own crazy, bare knuckle form of education, as I'd say, every now and again you need to look at an artist who is living proof that God does not hand out talent equally to us all. And I would bring up artists like John Singer Sargent or Mobius or Jack Kirby or any of these legends that you have out there, because it shouldn't make you feel. It shouldn't make you feel. To me, anyway, it never made me feel like, oh, I can't go on. What do I do? It actually inspires me to see somebody who is blind doing what he does. Makes me think, all right, kiddo, get to work. And it really just inspires me. I like people who persevere, overcome things, and are successful. That to me is one of the most amazing and beautiful things in life. So I can't. Yeah, I'll never be one of those folks who's not who lets envy get in the way of appreciation. You just don't need that in your life, do you? Let's see what we got here. All right, guys. Yeah, Bancroft's right. That sort of thing gets ludicrous on numbers. I know, it's wild, man. Bancroft's show us some of those shuffles on your next stream. A shuffle stream. That's right. Yeah. I'll think about that later. That's right. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too, right? Yes. We use a lot of the same systems when we're creating stuff in comics, but as Eric Weathers is showing with his special edition cover on Battle Brick Road, which is, using basically an algorithm to create every single person gets an original piece of artwork where the drawings Eric has done and the design elements that he's created for it are being moved around so that there is a unique print of that. Everybody gets a unique printing of it. That is the kind of cool stuff that I love, because you are getting one of one when you back that. So yeah, do back Battle Brick Road if you have not yet, and yeah, back that cover if you really want something that is one in a, who knows, a billion. I mean, that's absolutely infinite amount of combinations are possible. which is so crazy. Each cover is going to be as individual as a fingerprint, and you gotta love it. Let me see here. All right. Oh yeah, now we're getting there. Now we're getting somewhere. I was blind and cannot see. That's right. Except with the power of the young MC. That's right. There's a bunch of list sorting, ordering, and coding. Yes, 100%. Bonus point. Bonus point. Pride is just envy turned inwards. 100%. Yep. Envy only takes. That's right. Yeah. And it's the funniest thing is that. Oh my God, YouTube. Is it causing a ruckus? Is YouTube? Is it slow? Is the stream starting to lag a bit? One of the things for me when I'm looking at this, I need a refresher on Sigma notation. Oh my gosh, I'm going to need more than a refresher. I'm going to need a brain transplant in my case. But the thing for me about doing this stuff is there's so many different combinations that we can do. There's so many different things that we can approach. When we're looking at our work, that it really is. Everything is possible, but whether it's probable or not depends on us, and it depends on what we make happen here. And the thing that, to me anyway, is the only thing that is really ever going to be an issue in any of these spaces, is the fact that how do I put this? The biggest takeaways I got from being in early Comicsgate in terms of being someone backing books and somebody just enjoying being in here and that kind of thing was because I'd never heard these terms before, and they were really useful. Now, you guys all know these terms because you've been here, but was concern trolling, which is really this kind of passive-aggressive way of trying to attack somebody's character, which Ethan has experienced a lot of, and even I've experienced it. And the other aspect of guilt by association. Those are the two big things. And I always say that for me anyway, when I'm doing stuff, I try to just, once that stuff is out there, it's like, adios, we're good. And once I start, finding people who do great work and are consistent and do what they do, take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. I feel like I'm Steve Irwin right now. Have a look at this. There you go. Let's let it focus because it's a little blurry. And let focus. There you go. You're getting a little bit of the focus right there. But yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're building this up, and then you start to see like all of the work that goes into this. It is crazy. Every inch of this has got some really delicate work in it, and that's the key. That's what we're after right here. Yeah. When it is the buffering pushback because of the connection speed is being limited. Yeah. That's so frustrating. Yeah. Rest in peace, Steve Irwin. Amen. Yeah. Much love to Steve and his family. His son is a spitting image of him, which is crazy. So let's see here. All right. So one of the big things I've been working on, and let's see if I can find. I may have to save that for a stream later tonight. But I have been working on ideas for a Battle Brick Road piece. And the Battle Brick Road piece that I'm working on was suggested by one of my brothers. He goes, "This is what I'd like to see you paint." And it made total sense when he said it. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on. And I just want to see if I could find where I had one of my sketchbooks for this. Hang on a second. Let me see what I can find here. Let's see here. Don't think it's in there. Oh, wait. Here we go. It's not in here, but this will... Sorry for the avalanches you're going to hear. You're going to hear some little avalanches. Hopefully not too bad. There we go. So, I'm going to be sketching it out on this. If your YouTube has connections issues, it'll auto drop the quality of the settings. Yeah, you may need to bump it back up. Oh, is it still really bad? Hold on. Hey, babe, is there any streaming going on or heavy work being done? I don't think she's here. Let's see. The connection speed isn't going too hot. So if there's anything massive being run, let me know. So let's take a look at this. And let me know if it gets any better, guys. Sorry about that. It could be because my computer is getting a lot of storage taken up right now because of the way these because of the way this stores video, so that could be it too. But we'll see. So to wrap things up, I want to show you guys a little bit of what my sketch process is like when I'm coming up with the new things. No worry, we'll muddle through. All right, awesome. So here we go. So this is one of the things I'm planning on for right now, and I'm working on right now. So for Battle Brick Road, you'll notice I'm not making marks. I'm just mapping things in. But for Battle Brick Road, I'm working out a sketch idea right now. And I haven't found it completely yet. So it helps me to not look at all the stuff I've been doing and just create it. I have one possible sketch that is going to be like the pinup stuff that I've been doing, because I think a lot of people react to that, and because it's a poster book. And I am attempting to do a piece right now, and this is what the sketches look like, that is going to have at its center the flying monkeys and Dorothy. And it's going to be up in the air, much like, in a weird way, the figure was floating in the piece I did for Downcast in the CG Vacation book, which I hope you guys got from Phil. And so this is what it is. I was watching Culture Casino, and some tech nerd said that YouTube does not prioritize mobile devices, tablets, phones for connections. I bet it's true. Yeah, I have an extension which turns that off. Oh, well, there you go. Wow, look at you guys go. Download more RAM. Yeah, absolutely right. And so I wanted to show you guys a little bit of that sketch process that you guys have seen on stream, I'm sure, before with me. But I wanted to show you how I start and how I kind of work. So at this point, I've got more or less the idea for this sketch in my head. So it just becomes a question of painting it and starting to realize and visualize what it's going to be. Now, the big trick for this is that I've got to put a lot of the different characters in it, and then I've got to make sure that I put, things up in the sky, which is a little bit trickier. So I'm going to have Dorothy positioned like this. Gotta download more intelligence, please. I hear you. I'm the same way. Mine 10 is default. Oh my gosh, guys. You guys are getting into the tech weeds there. I'm impressed. I am not as skilled. So my plan is to have Dorothy being flown away by the flying monkeys, as they are known. And it's going to be composed in a very kind of classical sense, where they're all holding her up, but I want to do things where, because of the way that they're positioned, I want to have wings. Gosh, I hope I can pull this off. I want to have the wings on the flying monkeys look like they're wings on Dorothy. So I want to position her in the space so that when a monkey is sort of, one of the flying monkeys is kind of grabbing and lifting her up, that, and the other, from the other side is that you're getting this look of Dorothy having wings in the composition. So that is the plan. Had to step away and come back, and I come back to this. Very nice. There you go, Eric. There you go, brother. Yeah, and so that is one of the things that I am currently been thinking about, as like what I want to do for this, because my brother, the groomsman, who's known me, he's my oldest friend. I put that together the other day. But he's mentioned to me that, he was like, come on, man, you my art books and everything I've done, and even my logo is all about me drawing and illustrating primates. And he's like, you got to do it, man. You got to do something with the flying monkeys. And I thought, yeah, and then I can do something cool with Dorothy. Because, what's more difficult than painting women, It's like, that's the only thing that ever gives me pause. But I I'm a big fan of Gil Elfgren and that kind of thing, especially now that my style is kind of tracking in that direction. And so that was one of the things that I really wanted to do on this piece, was just kind of play that up, but make something that's just artistically ridiculous and, you know, beautiful and flying and uplifting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you guys know me. I love, the positivity thing is very much about aspirational, you know, work and being aspirational with what you do. So my interest right now is in making something that just really is going to be dynamite for my brother Eric. You know, that's how we do what we do. And so I'm kind of playing around with what that's going to be. You know, soon we'll use biotechnology and brain uses. Yeah, absolutely. And I love, you know, painting chimps and painting, you know, gorillas is, again, one of my favorite things to do. So I love that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be really, you know, obviously adjusting for scale. I'm going to be getting this, you know, all like tightened up on a smaller sketch level. So this is going to be another thing that you'll see me working on as I wrap up Michael's piece. I tend to stagger these things. So I was working on Michael's when I was working on Razor Fist, and the way that works is, some of my thinking on this. God, I need to learn how to speak better. Some of my thinking on this was, Razor Fist has, you know, a great audience and a dynamic audience, and, you know, they've been incredibly supportive since I've you know, done that piece, and I thought it might be really great to have, you know, some of the new people who've come in here, and thank you guys for coming in here and subscribing and supporting this channel. You guys are gold. But to have them get eyes on the stuff I'm doing for Michael and for other stuff, you know, and so it's been really, really fun, because, you know, now Razor Fist is checking out Michael's stuff, and my friends are getting a chance to meet, and it's the same attitude and approach I take. Same thing with BECKONED RECOURSE, same thing with everything I do. I want to try to promote stuff as much as I can, and I want to make great faces too for all this stuff. So, like, I see these sort of monkey characters that I'm doing, the flying monkey characters, as I'll paint them to be almost like, you know, gargoyles, and yeah, just give them a really cool, classical, almost Muka-esque, you know, quality to them. And I think it's just going to be fun to see, man. Yeah, black pill can be involuntary. White pill is a choice. Amen, man. Amen. Time to peel a butternut squash. Ooh, for my chicken meal. Yeah, so, yeah, we're going to keep having fun, guys. We're going to keep, you know, knocking this stuff out and making great artwork. And thank you guys for being here. Again, the link to those Iron Age shirts is in the description. Thank you to all of you guys who have been buying those, by the way. It is quite appreciated that you guys are doing that. Let me see here. Yeah. And, like, this is going to be... I cannot wait to draw all of these characters in. And I haven't even decided all of what's going to be going on in the background. But it will be much. It will be much. Rough in this. Right there, just for a little bit of scale. That's the scale I wanted. Yeah, guys, paint is fun. It's a lot of work, but, you know, to get relaxed with it and to get into a decent space with it, but it is a blast. That's why I love sharing it with you guys, because we just get to do so much on stream that people can look at and sort of see, okay, that's the process. That's about how long it takes. That's about what's involved. So there you go. So this is going to be some fun stuff, man. This is going to be some fun stuff. Yeah, Razor Fist is great and incisive. Yeah, he was. He was on his video today, too. I loved it, man. Loved it. Awesome one. Are you leaving? Yeah, listening. Oh, you just listened. Right on. Right on, guys. Yeah. All right, gang. So we're at about 2 hours. I'm going to be getting some food. I have not eaten today, I realized. And I'm going to be getting something to eat. I'm going to keep working on this stuff. I'll be back with more streams, either again tonight or depending on what's going on, certainly tomorrow. So we're just going to keep rocking and rolling, you know? Yeah, this is just a sketch. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, because when I sold the original for... This is the craziest thing. When I sold the original for the CYBERFROG trading card, a lot of collectors want to own every factor of it. And at first I wasn't aware of what a big deal like that was going to be. But yeah, people buy my tracing paper transfers for their paintings. Like, people who are completists, when they buy original artwork, they want everything. They want everything. They want the sketch. They want this, so they can put the comic, you know, or the book that it gets used in. They want to be able to put that in a frame next to it, and they are completists. So every single thing I did, with the exception of the approved sketch I sent to Ethan, is owned by one person. So anybody who, you know, wants that piece, that's where it's at. It's crazy. So yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you. Shanth in chat says, John, thank you. Thanks for the hangout. Absolutely 40% Zed. Thank you. God bless you all. Agreed, John. And Chow says, awesome one. Thank you guys for being here. I will be back. I will be around. I will be working. It's always a pleasure when you guys are here. So yeah, just keep doing what we do. While they sleep, we work. We grind, and we get things done. So much love. I'll see you guys at the Waffle Lodge and in future painting streams. As I always like to say, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and what my name means, peace. Much love, everybody.